Vice President Mike Pence made a stop in West Michigan today. He was here to tour a local factory and pay his final respects to the late Richard DeVos, who passed away last week.
We do have team coverage of the DeVos Memorial Services and Vice President Pence's visit. Susan Samples is at a public visitation that's still happening tonight.
But we start with political reporter Rick Albin. He was with the Vice President when Pence made his respects to Rich DeVos. Rick?
Well, the visit to Michigan for the Vice President, like the 7 others that he has made since being elected, is very much about elections, midterm and 2020. But the reason the Vice President was here today was to pay his respects to conservative business icon Richard DeVos.
You have a champion in President Donald Trump.
Vice President Pence spent most of his time at Mill Steel giving a campaign-oriented stem-winding speech that has become familiar in recent visits. But he reserved the end of his address to pay his respects and talk about the life of conservative business icon Richard DeVos.
And I can't help to come to Grand Rapids and think of another great American who left this world just a few short days ago, who literally embodied the American dream. And let me close with just a word of admiration and a word of tribute to Rich DeVos.
The Vice President talked about the global business success of Mr. DeVos and how he created opportunity for people of all walks of life, but he reserved his highest praise for the way DeVos made an impact with his generosity and by example.
Rich made an indelible mark on this city and this state and this nation. Rich DeVos was a great American. He lived a great life, a life of family, of faith in America and faith in God. And Rich DeVos will be missed.
In addition to his other involvements, Richard DeVos was a frequent contributor to Republican political candidates, and Vice President Pence has been in Michigan 3 times since the primary election to keep the pressure on an electorate that voted for the Republican presidential ticket for the first time in nearly 30 years. But the timing of today's trip was expressly to remember Richard DeVos. The Vice President expressed his condolences in person to the DeVos family later today at the Amway Grand Plaza Hotel.
Yeah, it certainly says a lot when the Vice President's been here just 3 times. You can count it on your hand, but he really wanted to be here for the DeVos family.
And I think there are 2 things to keep in mind. One is, yes, the DeVos family have been contributors to the Republican Party and very involved in the politics, the realm of politics for a very long time. But all of the other things that the Vice President was talking about are also true about the impact on the community and the state and on the nation. And so that was the combination of reasons he was here today, and expressly because he wanted to come and say those things here in Grand Rapids.
Certainly. Yeah. All right, Rick, thank you for that.
Thanks, Rick.